Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa. My name is Justine DeJager, and I serve as the Treasurer on the FirstU Board of Directors. Normally, if you would like more information about FirstU, it would be available at the welcome table at the back of the pews. However, while the FirstU building is closed because of the COVID-19 virus, you may instead contact us through email at welcome@firstunitarianottawa.ca. I repeat, for more information, please email us at welcome@firstunitarianottawa.ca. After the service and future services, our normal hospitality hour will be replaced by a virtual get-together. If you would like to join us for the hospitality hour on Zoom, please see our website, www.firstunitarianottawa.ca, or our weekly email newsletter, the EUU, for information on how to do so. Whatever your heritage, whatever your faith, whomever you love, and however you identify, today you are a part of our spiritual community. Welcome. We hope you come back soon.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Susan, and I am pleased to serve as Worship Associate this morning. Last March, when we closed the doors to our building to do our part in preventing the spread of disease, most of us would never have imagined that we would still be social distancing and meeting mostly online after Labor Day. However, we have remained connected and active. We are still a vibrant congregation with open minds, spirits, and hearts. I hope this moment finds you well. This morning, I welcome you into my home and the homes of this morning's board member, our music director, our director of religious exploration, and our minister, Reverend Pat. Thank you for welcoming us into your home. Although we find ourselves in separate places, here we are together online, listening, connecting, and soon singing. First, some announcements. Church staff are working remotely these days and are monitoring emails during usual working hours. Phone calls will be checked, but less regularly, so please email for a quicker response. Our online calendar is as full as it has always been, so it is more important now than ever to sign up to receive our weekly email newsletter, the EUU, and to check our web and Facebook pages for notices and updates. This week's EUU and our website include announcements about trivia nights and Sunday forums. You will also find the link to register for FirstU's Holtham Lecture on the evening of September 24th. Kate White, Executive Director of the United Nations Association of Canada and Vice President of the World Federation of UN Associations, will be our speaker this year. Do register to connect by Zoom for the lecture and help to spread the word. At the Sunday Forum next week, our Indigenous Relations Working Group will present a talk by Catherine Fournier, who will discuss trying to make sense of the Indian Act, its continuing effect on Indigenous peoples, and why it is still in force. Catherine is a member of the Pinemutang First Nation in Manitoba, who recently retired after 20 years at the former Indigenous and Northern Affairs Canada, where she focused on innovative policy approaches. She has long been active in Indigenous social justice work, including co-chairing the United Church of Canada's Living into Right Relations Task Group, which accompanied the Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Phil Nagy, and I'm serving on the committee tasked with finding your next settled minister. I'm happy to report that the search is going well. Congregants are getting involved. In the last 2 weeks, over 80 people have completed the survey, but we need a lot more. If you have not filled out your survey, please do so this week. Not only will your voice be heard, but ministers are impressed by high response rates. Go to the congregational website, click the Minister Search button at the top, then click the Survey button, and you will see how to complete the survey either online or on paper. Another way people are getting involved with the search is by participating in one of our open focus groups. These are all listed in the EUU and on our website in the Minister Search section. You need to register in advance. You can do so on the website or by emailing focusgroupregister@firstunitarian.ca. That's focusgroupregister@firstunitarianottawa.ca. The next session is tomorrow, Monday, September 21st at 7 p.m. But the main action I'd like to highlight today is a very important workshop being held this coming Saturday called Beyond Categorical Thinking. This workshop is designed specifically to help congregations like ours find a minister who is a great match for us, and it very much supports the FirstU goal to be truly embracing of diversity. The workshop will be led by a minister and a lay leader from outside our congregation who have lots of experience. All board and search committee members will be there. We want you there as well. To register, email ministersearch@firstunitarianottawa.ca. We scheduled the workshop to be held in 2 90-minute parts with a 2-hour break in between. You can learn more about the workshop by going to our website, clicking on the Minister Search button at the top, then clicking on Workshop. Thank you for all you're doing to support the search for our new minister.
Bonjour. Good morning, everyone. I am the Reverend Pat Guthmann Haresch. Oh, and I should say Shana Tova, the greeting for Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. It will begin this weekend and signals the start of the Jewish High Holy Days, which will end with Yom Kippur. So, Shana Tova, Happy New Year. May we hold all those in our hearts who are celebrating the Jewish New Year and all the high holy days, virtually or remotely this year. This morning I will be focusing on the First Nations connection to the land. So our chalice lighting words come from the website of the Assembly of First Nations, who advocate for First Nations of Canada, across Canada. These words: from the realms of the human world, the sky dwellers, the water beings, forest creatures, and all other forms of life, the beautiful Mother Earth gives birth to, nurtures, and sustains all life. Mother Earth provides us with our food and clean water sources, bestows us with materials for our homes, clothes, and tools, provides all life with raw materials for industry, ingenuity, and progress. She is the basis of who we are, with languages, our cultures, our knowledge, and wisdom to know how to conduct ourselves in a good way. If we listen from the place of connection to the spirit that lives in all things, Mother Earth teaches what we need to know to take care of her and all her children. All is provided by our Mother, the Earth. May we remember this. And Alex, could you come and light the chalice? We have a special guest this morning. If you could light the chalice. Did it go?
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's oh, here. Oh, thanks for that. Was a good try, Bobby. There you go.
Is it just because it's wet?
I don't know. Thank you so much.
Ish.
Let us sing the chalice song. Chalice, chalice, burning bright, help remind us with your light of how we'd like to live each day, with love and truth helping lead the way.
Hi everyone, it's Neo, your Director of Religious Exploration. Hope everyone's doing well. Today I'm sharing with you a poem instead of a short story, and the poem is titled A Breath of Residential School. I tried to find the author but had a bit of a hard time finding exactly who wrote it, but my understanding is that it was written by an elementary school student at a public school in Vancouver, an alternative public school in Vancouver, under Division 17 and 18, and my understanding is they were asked to write a reconciliation poem. And so there's a bunch of poems, but this one I thought was particularly good, so yeah, I'll be sharing with you A Breath of Residential School, and it's in connection to our next 2 weeks of RE lessons, where we're looking at the story, the orange T-shirt. I think that's what it's called. Sorry, but anyway, yeah. So it's in the EUU, and the lessons are connected to this poem. I hope everyone has a great Sunday. Bye. A breath of residential school. Breathe in abusive behavior. Breathe out dance and song. Breathe in the Indian Act. Breathe out celebration of culture. Breathe in removal from community. Breathe out traditional clothes. Breathe in the first residential school. Breathe out all apology on all levels. Breathe in torn generations. Breathe out everyone being who they were born to be. Breathe in residential schools. Breathe out First Nations.
Summertime has turned the star wheel. Autumn is upon us. Summertime has turned the star wheel. Autumn is upon us. Sweet the angling song, sweet upon the air, the smell of blue mist rising. Summertime has turned the star wheel. Autumn is upon us. Glorious the trees, glorious the sight of rust leaves falling, falling. Summertime has turned the star wheel. Autumn is upon us. This is the time in our service when we are drawn closer to the heart of love at our center and hold those both near and far, loved ones and strangers, in our hearts. These are words from a 19th century prayer translated by Chief Yellow Lark of the Lakota peoples, also known as the Sioux, who can be found in Canada and the States. O Great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the wind, whose breath gives life to all the world, hear me. I need your strength and wisdom. Let me walk in beauty and make my eyes ever behold the red and purple sunset. Make my hands respect the things you have made, and my ears sharp to hear your voice. Help me to remain calm and strong in the face of all that comes toward me. Let me learn the lessons you have hidden in every leaf and rock. Today I will place stones in the water for those you are thinking of, joys and concerns, perhaps in all our hearts. I have some stones of joy. Oh, we are so happy for our music director, Deirdre, on the occasion of her upcoming wedding. A smaller event probably than planned given the circumstances of the pandemic, but many blessings to you, Deirdre, and to Ashley. 2 stones. We are so excited that our intern, Ian Hill, our intern minister, has finally arrived and is in Ottawa, but quarantined, after first being blocked at the border. So on Ian's next attempt with the agreement of border control, Ian made it in. So thank you to all those who have helped Ian to be comfortable and cared for during this quarantine time, especially. A stone for Ian and for those who helped. I want to also place a stone for an old friend of FirstU to honor and remember him. A stone in memory of the late Reverend Vernon Nichols, who we learned has passed away. He served FirstU from 1971 to 1983. We think of Vernon and we also remember his wife, Sue. Another stone of care. We are thinking of Marlene, who lost her mother, Dorothy Kohler, but was at her side when she passed away. This is for Marlene and family. A stone of concern. We think of all those who have suffered from flood and fire and storm. May we do what it is that's in our power to help prevent extreme weather and care for our earth and all her skies. Yes. And a final stone. As I drop it into the water, may you imagine all the weight of the world in this stone. And as it sinks into the water, let any heaviness be washed away. And perhaps today, as is the custom of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, sometime take an apple and dip it in honey, as is the custom. Something that symbolizes the hope that may come and that the new year might be sweet. May it be so. May we hold the joys and sorrows of this gathered community and the sadness and wonders of this earth in our hearts and join together in a moment of silence. Let us be still together.
This morning's reading comes from a keynote address by the late Elder Audrey Shenandoah, delivered at a global forum on environment and development for survival in Moscow in January of 1990. She spoke between talks by Soviet President Gorbachev and the United Nations Secretary of the time. Audrey spoke on behalf of her people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, or people of the Longhouse, commonly referred to as Iroquois or Six Nations, connected to lands from New York State into Ontario and Quebec. Among my people, we could not come together in this way without first offering words of acknowledgement, respect, and thanksgiving for our fellow human beings. Now our words we direct to our Mother Earth, who supports all life. We look to the shortest grasses, close to the bosom of our Mother Earth, as we put our minds together as one mind. We include all the plant life, the woodlands, all the waters of the earth, the fishes, the animal life, the bird life, and the four winds. As one mind, our acknowledgement, respect, and thanksgiving move upward to the sky world, the grandmother moon, the sun, and the stars, and are spiritual beings of the sky world. With one mind, we address our acknowledgement, respect, and gratefulness to all the sacred cycle of life. We as humans must remember to be humble and acknowledge the gifts we use so freely in our daily lives.
The late Onondaga clan mother, Audrey Shenandoah, noted, "There is no word for nature in my language. Nature in English seems to refer to that which is separate from human beings. It is a distinction we don't recognize." The Onondaga Nation is a member of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, known as the People of the Longhouse or Iroquois, found in New York State, Ontario, Quebec, have been their lands. Although there are differences among the Indigenous peoples of North America, differences in language, traditions, art, crafts, dress, dwellings, music, sacred stories, there are commonalities. And this notion that humans are not distinct from or superior to nature, but are inextricably connected with and dependent upon all life, is very core to First Nations peoples. Kind of sounds like the interdependent web of all life or all nature, which is our UU 7th principle, yes? You may be familiar with the phrase, all our relations, or all my relations, the English equivalent of a phrase familiar in the language of almost every Indigenous group in North America. According to U.S. Canadian author Thomas King, who's actually of Cherokee, German, and Greek descent, all my relations is at first a reminder of who we are and of our relationship with both our family and our relatives, our ancestors. It also reminds us of the extended relationship we share with all human beings. But the relationships that Indigenous people see go further. The web of kinship to animals, to the birds, to the fish, to the plants, to all the animals and inanimate forms that can be seen or imagined. More than that, all my relations is an encouragement for us to accept the responsibilities we have within the universal family by living our lives in a harmonious and moral manner. A common admonishment, says Mr. King, is to say of someone that they act as if they had no relations. They act as if they have no relations when they're not acting morally. You may have seen in the EUU newsletter that we will be offering a congregational read called Braided Sweetgrass that will be more like chalice groups based on that book. The theme of interdependence can be seen throughout the book. Its author, Robin Wall Kimmerer, a professor of environmental and forest biology, is also a member of the citizen Potawatomi Nation, an Algonquin-speaking people in Oklahoma State in the United States. Robin Kimmerer says this: "Each person, human or no, is bound to every other in a reciprocal relationship. Just as all beings have a duty to me, I have a duty to them. If an animal gives its life to feed me, I am in turn bound to support its life. If I receive a stream's gift of pure water, then I am responsible for returning a gift in kind. An integral part of a human's education is to know these duties and how to perform them." So how do people act when they don't feel a deep connection to the land and all of life? Perhaps they pollute it, spread trash upon it, throw away things in landfills that could be used again, buy and sell land for private gain while others starve and are left homeless, disregard endangering animals, and destroy habitat for generations to come. This is what acting as if we had no relations looks like. With the ground we walk upon, the oxygen we breathe, the water and food and everything else depends on. This is what it looks like when we're not acting morally. We don't care as much about it. Clan Mother Audrey Shenandoah urged in her life that the whole concept of nature be rethought. Nature, the land, must not mean money. It must designate life. Nature is the storehouse of potential life of future generations, and it is sacred. Spirituality, she says, should be our foundation. I had a mentor, I think I've mentioned before. Her name was also Patricia. She wouldn't share with us the name she was given by her people. She was an absentee Shawnee, an Algonquin-related group who once lived all around the Great Lakes and moved into the eastern and southeastern United States, a people who had been moved and displaced many times. I say mentor because before seminary I had studied and learned much about the Indigenous people of Minnesota, where I was from, and also other places in the United States. But Patricia taught me more because she was Indigenous, yes? One story about Patricia came to mind as I thought of today's topic. I guess I should begin in the story by saying the seminary I went to, Andover Newton Theological School, sat on a hill in Massachusetts, outside of the Boston area. The little shopping area at the bottom of the hill was so typical of a charming New England village with old churches and shops. It wouldn't take much to imagine how it would have looked like in the 18th or 19th centuries. The campus vista on the hill was lovely. One side of the hill was full of trees that changed in autumn and were covered with snow or were ice-tipped in the winter. When Patricia and I were attending Andover Newton, the school itself was in deep financial decline, as many seminaries are struggling these days. To raise money, they first started selling off land, and they sold land to Hebrew College to build a teaching facility. Patricia was very opposed to the selling of this land. At any public meeting or meeting that welcomed the seminary community to speak up and discuss this transaction, Patricia was there in opposition. She held informational sessions to try and organize people against the construction and did attract a few followers. Some people wondered if she was anti-Semitic when Hebrew College was being built. Why was she so strongly opposed? The sale was completed, and as the time drew nearer for construction, Patricia grew sadder and sadder, distracted and withdrawn. I learned she was deeply mourning the loss of the trees. To make way for Hebrew College, soon many trees would be chopped down. Each tree, each being, each relation, with sap running through it, roots and leaves continuing to develop, all would be killed. She would walk through and talk and sing to the trees. She would hold ceremonies among the trees, late at night or early in the morning, when she wouldn't be seen or questioned for what she was up to. She made a unique prayer bundle for each tree that was destined to come down. Dozens of trees, dozens of prayer bundles that she left by each tree. She did not want the trees to be alone or leave the trees as if they were like patients waiting in hospice, right? She would accompany them as best as she could as they drew closer to their last breaths. She was in a dark place leading up to and after the trees were taken down. You know, all my relations. I've learned that Patricia died almost 10 years ago. I'm very sad to know that I won't know what her journey was as her life came to a close. And I have so many questions still of my teacher. Of the many things I would have liked to have talked with her about, I was curious about the Shawnee prayer bundles. Many Indigenous peoples have a custom of making medicine or prayer bundles, but in particular, I wanted to know what was the absentee Shawnee or Shawnee practice that Patricia was taking part of. I researched more. It was said among the absentee Shawnee, the Shawnee, that the Creator, our grandmother, Kokomandina of the Shawnee, gave the Shawnee their prayer bundles. A particular bundle with mysterious contents was given to each tribe, as they say in the U.S., or group. The welfare of the group seemed to be wrapped up with this particular prayer bundle from our grandmother. And it was handed down generation to generation, but individuals also would start to make and keep personal medicine bundles. Maybe give one as someone went away on a trip, give them a bundle. The prayer bundles might have, in a sense, a magical quality for healing and blessings, but for the Shawnee, the bundles help maintain a balance between all of life, plants and creatures and humans, and I suspect other Indigenous peoples who make the bundles have this sense as well. Often you will find that what may seem like day-to-day customs and actions in Indigenous life will be filled with meaning and connection, not just a walk or just a building of the fire or just hunting. They will have something more meaningful about them in the custom of it, much like the mindfulness practice of Buddhists. And every custom and ritual is not just about connection with ancestors and people, but it's all about connection with all of life and balance and gratitude and humility. When a house is built in my neighborhood in Ottawa, you know, it's a house. It might be well built and built with care, designed with the occupant's desires in mind. Energy efficiency may have been considered. But is there a spiritual significance that's part of every step in the building? A Nahai Yawak, or Plains Cree elder, Mary Lee, speaks of the traditions around their dwellings, now known as teepees, not always lived in at this point. Now they're more ceremonial, but there were traditions that go way back about building teepees among the Cree. Teepees now, but in the past they would be called Keche Migawap. Mary Lee says when she makes something, anything, it's not just to make it. It's got meaning to it. It's like when I pick sweetgrass, she says, and when I braid it, there's a prayer that goes in there. Whoever I give that sweetgrass to, when they burn it, those prayers come out and they help that person. She says it's the same with the teepee. When I make a teepee, when it goes up the first time, it has to face east. Because a teepee to me is not just a symbol, it's a ceremony. The dwelling, for her, is connected to the land and to the elements. The door faces east because it represents the beginning of creation. Before building the teepee, Mary Lee offers tobacco. She will sit on the ground with humbleness because she is offering tobacco to Mother Earth, who will be providing everything Mary Lee will need for the teepee. Tobacco is offered at each stage of the process. Remember, not just building, it's a ceremony. And others who might help in building share in the offerings as Mary Lee with humbleness. Mary Lee says, "When I go out to the land and cut down the teepee poles, I make offerings of tobacco there too. This is how we honor the resources and gifts of our Mother Earth. She has gifted us for a very long time. The teepee is a ceremony that reminds us of the balance we must bring to our lives and the powerful teachings that the women have." For Mary Lee says that the dwelling, the teepee, is of women, and so they should teach of the dwellings. More than a dwelling, a teepee becomes a ceremony built with humility, gratitude, recognition of all that came from Mother Earth. In balance it was built, and it won't be built to denigrate or destroy any part of Mother Earth. And in building the teepee, consider how we might give back. I remember when I was in elementary school, I had an assignment when I had to somehow present dwellings of the different indigenous peoples of the United States. Excuse me. What I discovered is the structures were various and were so dependent, of course, on the conditions of the land where they were in the weather at different times of the year. Some were more temporary, some more permanent, some out of clay, some animal hide or bark, or a combination of clay and grass or something like that. The distinctness of each people, of each nation, was so wound up with the land they were on. Their stories, their art, their food, their language, their clothes. So why is it such a big deal for the indigenous to leave their land? Because it shapes everything they are and have been. Jeanette Armstrong, an Okanagan author and educator. The Okanagan Nation is associated with British Columbia. She notes for those people, for that nation, they never have thought of land as anything like static, as anything kind of physical. She says we've always thought about it as a process of interactions, a process of changes, and a process that's ongoing. And so a lot of things that we think about as Okanagan people is how those systems should inform us in terms of our interactions and the principles that we need to think about and adhere to. In the process of learning in our society, she continues, one of the things that we have come to understand is that there always needs to be that connection to and from the individual, and the connection of the family, and the connection to community, and how that intersects to the natural world, the land, the elements, everything. I feel like I just got started. There's so much more I could share and describe about this sacred connection and relation to all this concept for all the First Nation peoples. I hope it has inspired you to think of the connections that you have felt with the land and all the elements. I'm going to close, though, like I said, I think it's the beginning of a conversation. I'll close with the words of Robin Wall Kimmerer. Know the ways of the ones who take care of you, so that you may take care of them. Introduce yourself. Be accountable as the one who comes asking for life. Ask permission before taking. Abide by the answer. Never take the first. Never take the last. Take only what you need. Take only that which is given. Never take more than half. Leave some for others. Harvest in a way that minimizes harm. Use it respectfully. Never waste what you have taken. Share. Give thanks for what you have been given. Give a gift. In reciprocity, I don't know why I'm having trouble talking. In reciprocity, give a gift for what you have taken. Sustain the ones who sustained you, and the earth will last forever. May it be so.
In the roots of yon oak, her
At this point in our service, we usually pass the baskets to accept the offering. Since we cannot do that, you may go to our website or contact our finance manager to find out how you might keep up with your pledge or make a donation during these times. We give these gifts freely. We receive these gifts gratefully. We dedicate these gifts to the work of the congregation, serving human wholeness, caring for the planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, loving one another.
As we prepare to extinguish the chalice, let us close with words from a Navajo Nation beauty blessing. The Navajo are in the southwestern United States, or come from there. The beauty blessing. Today I will walk out. Today everything unnecessary will leave me. I will be as I was before. I will have a cool breeze over my body. I will have a light body. I will be happy forever. Nothing will hinder me. I walk with beauty before. I walk with beauty behind me. I walk with beauty below me. I walk with beauty above me. I walk with beauty around me. My words will be beautiful. In beauty all day long may I walk. Through the returning seasons may I walk. On the trail marked with pollen may I walk. With dew about my feet I may walk. In old age wandering on a trail of beauty, lively may I walk. In old age wandering on a trail of beauty, living again, may I walk. My words will be beautiful. May we all walk in beauty today. Excuse me. Alex, could you light the chalice? Oh, extinguish the chalice.
Bananas.
More bananas. You can either blow it out.
Careful.
Yeah, careful of it. Did we get it? There we go. Just like a birthday candle. Huh? Okay. Chalice is out. Let us sing Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Cudame vidas quari de justiça, ternurimo, cielo pot moi, source de vie, viens vers moi, viens vers moi.
Go in peace. Go in joy. Go in love.